everyone! Would you like to learn some important vocabulary to help you discuss politics in English? Welcome to Jen's Jyugyou. My name is Jen, and today I'm going to teach you some useful vocabulary that will help you to discuss and understand politics. The word politics is an abstract noun, and it means things that are connected to the government, to the running of the country or the province, the state, the prefecture, or the city. We're going to be talking about politics. The people who are involved in politics, who try and have a job working within politics, are called politicians. Okay? So a prime minister, president, mayor, etc., they are called politicians. And the adjective for politics is political. So now that we've broken down the main word that today's lesson is about, let's take a look at more in-depth vocabulary connected to this topic. Within politics, we can say that there are three main types of government, three main types of systems and the way that a country's government will work. One way is called a democracy. A democracy is the most common way of doing politics, the most common way of governing a country. What democracy means is that the leaders of the country are chosen by the people. Okay? So the people living in that country will vote, they will choose or decide who they want to represent them as the government. They will select which politicians they want. So this is called a democracy. The second main type of government is called a monarchy. Monarchy means that the government is being controlled by a king or a queen. When the king or queen has complete control of the government, they are the ones in charge for sure. It's called an absolute monarchy because the king or queen is the person making all the decisions for their country. And this includes countries such as Saudi Arabia or Brunei or Oman. Now, there are other countries that have a monarchy, but the monarch is not the absolute monarch. They're not the only one in control. There's also a democracy working together with the monarch in places such as the UK or in Japan, where there's an emperor or the queen who are still there representing their country, but you also have prime ministers. And the third type of government that you could have is called a dictatorship. A dictatorship means that somebody has come along and has just taken control of the country and they are the person that is in charge. You do what they say or else. And usually within a dictatorship, the leader is called a dictator and they try to eliminate or destroy anyone who tries to take away their power. There are dictatorships in countries such as Cuba, North Korea, and China. Democracy, monarchy, and dictatorship are the three main ways that a government can be ruled. If the government is a democracy-style government, the leaders are chosen by people. It means that everyone living or who is a citizen of that place gets to vote for or elect the person who they want to represent them. Okay? So the vocabulary to vote for or elect means to choose the person who you want. The name of that person trying to become elected is called a candidate. A candidate. So you vote for the candidate who you like the best. And we have a specific word for what candidates will do during an election. Okay? So candidates who want to be elected, who want to be voted for, we say that they are running in the election, right? So their name is on the ballot. There's usually a piece of paper you get with all of the candidates who are trying to become elected, and you vote for the one you want. The people who you are voting for are running in the election. An election is the process of getting everybody to vote for the person who they want. Okay? So usually there is a day set aside for everyone to check off their ballots, put it in the box, and say, this is who I want to vote for. So that day is called an election day. In most countries, elections happen every 4 or 5 years. Specifically in Canada, elections happen every 4 years, and they usually happen on the 3rd Monday in October. Very soon, we are going to have our federal election in Canada. There are 3 layers of government. The government that represents the whole country, we can say, is the federal government or the national government. The person who represents the federal or national government is usually called the president or prime minister. The next level in Canada is the provincial level. So the leader of each province in Canada is called a premier. In the United States, the leader of each state is called a governor. For the citywide elections, they are called municipal elections. Municipal is the adjective for city. And the person that represents you within your city is called the mayor. So in Canada, we have municipal elections, provincial elections, and federal elections. The federal election is the one that I mentioned happens every 4 years for us to choose to vote for our next prime minister. So when elections are held federally and you are voting for the candidate who you want to represent you, you are voting not just for the person, the candidate themselves, but you're also voting for the political party that they represent. So a political party means an organization, okay? A group of people that all share the same or very similar views will belong to specific parties. The 2 main political parties in the United States are Republican and Democrat. In Canada, there are technically 4 main political parties, but only 2 of these parties have ever held power. To hold power means that you have been elected and you are the person or the party that is in control. So the 2 biggest political parties as of making this video are liberal and conservative. Conservative basically means people who have more traditional values and who are concerned with finances, budgeting the books, people say, trying to get the country out of debt. Whereas liberals usually stand for more personal freedom and usually try to create more social reform. Reform means change. So they want to create lots of changes to give people more individual freedoms and more free trade and move in new directions. So the 2 main parties in Canada are conservative and liberal, but we have 2 other political parties which have been getting bigger and bigger every year. One of them is called the NDP party, which stands for the New Democratic Party. And the other political party, which has become more popular, especially as issues of climate change have been entering political discussion, is the Green Party. So those are the 4 main political parties in Canada: Liberal, Conservative, NDP, and Green. So I want to teach you a couple vocabulary words that are used more often in US politics, but they're also used in Canadian politics as well. And this is the idea that when you're talking about politicians or political parties or your own personal political beliefs, you can say that you are left or right. or in the middle, but usually left or right are the two words that you might hear. Basically, if somebody says, oh, that party is leaning towards the left, or they are left, it means that they have more liberal views. Whereas if you say that a party is leaning towards the right, generally that means that they have more conservative views about things. And if you're in the center or the middle of the road, you are neither extremely liberal or extremely conservative. During an election, the promises that the candidates are making are called their political platform. So their platform is what the political party and the candidates say that their party will do if they are elected. So I am an English teacher and I am not a mastermind of politics. This video is not designed to tell you who to vote for or what kind of political views to have. I just wanted to give you some useful vocabulary that will help you to discuss and understand politics. I also want to give you a great way to help increase political vocabulary. A super great tip is to find 3 different articles written about the same story. So find 3 different newspapers or 3 different websites that all have stories about the same topic. So the same story, but written by different people in different newspapers. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to read all 3 of the stories and underline any of the words that are used in all 3 articles. So if the same words are used in all 3 articles to talk about politics, those words are the words that are going to be important for you to learn. If you already know the word, great. If you don't know the words that you have found in all 3 of the articles, then you can try and guess what they mean first, then look the word up in the dictionary to see if your guess is correct. Try this tip with political articles to help improve your political vocabulary, or with any type of article in an area where you wish to improve your vocabulary. And now it's time for question of the day. Today's question is, please tell me about the political system and the leader of your country. Let me know your answers in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there's an election happening near you, go and vote and get your voice heard. Every vote matters. Do it. Also, if you found this video useful, please subscribe to Jen's Jyugyou and give this video a thumbs up. Good luck with your English studies. See you in the next lesson.